Bowling is back. Welcome to South Point Casino and Hotel in Las Vegas and the 4th annual Geico World Series of Bowling. This is the Bear World Bowling Tour Finals. I'm Lon McCarron with Randy Peterson and Kimberly Pressler. Some of the biggest names of the game are in action today. To introduce them, let's get it down to public address announcer Mike J.
The number 3 qualifier is a 14-time champion on the PBA Tour, Triple Crown winner, former Player of the Year, and 10-time member of Team USA from Double Oak, Texas, Chris Barnes. The number 2 player is a 4-time PBA Tour champion, 2-time member of Team USA from Dallas, Texas, the Argyle Assassin, Mike Fagan. The top qualifier is a 9-time PBA Tour champion, including 3 majors, 2-time PBA Player of the Year, the defending World Bowling Tour champion from Heartland, Michigan, representing Finland, Major Mika Koivuniemi.
The World Bowling Tour brings its finals to Las Vegas after an exhaustive international trek that would make any seasoned traveler cringe. Randy, the continued success of the WBT really points towards the international popularity of the game.
Well, professional bowling is now truly global, and the finalists on today's telecast had an opportunity to compete in 20 events over 2 years spanning the globe. Our players competed in such exotic destinations as Kuwait, Japan, Australia, and France, just to name a few. Professional bowling is now truly international, but hey, Lon, don't take my word for it. Why don't you ask the defending champion of this event, Mika Koivuniemi? He's from Finland, and you'll see him in the finals.
Match number 1 features the 3rd seed Chris Barnes, 42 years old, from Double Oak, Texas, and the 2nd seed Mike Fagan. Fagan, as you heard, the Argyle Assassin, opening on the left lane. And Fagan leaves the 10 to open up.
What a breakout season it was for Mike Fagan last season, winning a major, the USBC Masters. It's right up there for the most of the season for Player of the Year considerations. He's become a very versatile, well-rounded player, can play straight, can hook it, can do a lot of things except foul.
And this will not be his 15th perfect game.
Nice lane maintenance. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Watch this, he's going to stick.
And jump.
And there's the foul, the shoe going over the foul line. And that's going to be an open frame to start for Mike Fagan.
Oh, what a tough spot to open up for Fagan, who now watches Chris Barnes in his 15th PBA season, 14 titles, 3 majors. And he gets the 7-pin to fall for an opening strike. Well, we mentioned at the top of the show that last season was a disappointment for Chris Barnes, maybe the worst ever.
Last season was a disaster for a lot of reasons. One, it was the least amount of money I've made since my rookie season. I had a couple of major goals in mind. I did have 300 on TV, which was the lone bright spot in the entire season, was that one game. I didn't win the Masters, although I made a good run at it, so that just made it a little bit bigger disappointment. And you know, the rest of it was, it's the lowest I finished in the points, and as long as I can remember, and it just wasn't a very good year. I didn't make the adjustments to what was going on with the oils and the patterns we were on, and it was a pretty big disappointment from that standpoint, for sure.
Barnes, 25 career 2nd place finishes, and certainly will be fighting to avoid his 26th. Rookie of the Year in '98, Player of the Year in the 07-08 season. He says, get going, and it did. He opens with a double.
All 16 pounds was needed to knock all 10 down on this little light mixer. You hear him say, go, go. He wants the ball to go through the pins correctly, and he takes full advantage of the open frame by Mike Fagan.
Fagan sticking and having to hop over the foul line for a foul on his spare attempt in the first frame, and now finds himself down. It's good there. And there it is. Fagan comes back. These two have a history together. Let's look back to early 2012 in the USBC Masters. Fagan won his first major championship there, coming back from 30 pins down to defeat Barnes in the title match.
The Masters win was fantastic. It's just something that, you know, you work so hard to get to that point, and you don't even know if it's really ever going to happen. You know, so to take advantage of that moment was huge, and you know, hopefully it gives me a little bit of confidence moving forward for the other events.
It was all part of the master plan of him putting together a very sound physical game and then getting the confidence needed to take the whole package to the next level.
So now Fagan trying to overcome a foul in the first frame. Delaney fouled on. He's fine. The approach there, and he comes up with a double of his own.
Boy, and that says a lot mentally about Mike Fagan. He just showed you right there the difference between him now and 3 or 4 years ago.
Does not look happy, though.
He's got something going on. I'm not really sure what it is, but he came back after fouling on the 10-pin spare attempt and threw 2 great shots to cut the deficit to 11.
Barnes working on a double. He dances with that gutter, leaves the 10.
A great shot that was. This oil pattern plays similar to Cheetah because of the length. However, it's much flatter across the lane, but that's why you see the players playing the extreme outside part of the lane. Ugly ringing 10.
Chris told me he has some catching up to do on the PBA Tour. Has to find a way to adjust to conditions better. International influx making these fields more talented, and he has to find a way to stay up as he cleans up the spare. So you're wondering how to keep score in bowling. Well, you can do it at home. Randy, you score all the time at home.
Hey, when I was a kid growing up, I used to keep score to earn my practice money. It's pretty simple. A strike is worth 10 plus the next 2 balls. A spare is 10 plus the very next ball.
Barnes with a double and a spare.
But I was told there would be no math. What happened?
On the left blade. And Barnes with another strike. Yeah, he says that one, he likes it.
Well, Mark Baker's worked extensively over the last couple of years with Chris Barnes to get him to try to be a little bit more versatile. He's such a heavy roller of the bowling ball, and Mark Baker's helped him immensely, trying to create a little bit different rotation and thus making him a bit more versatile out here.
So now Fagan with a chance to make up for that foul after Barnes spared the third, and Fagan with a strike here in the fourth. Emily Mayer, Mike Fagan's fiance, also a very good bowler in her own right there on the left with Kathy and Ralph, Mike's parents. Emily listens to Mike when he comes home and complains about things that are happening to him in his bowling world, and she's one who can understand.
Emily is, yeah, she's a really good bowler in her own right. She's kind of not as active anymore, but you know, she still competes in the major events, and she does well. She holds her own. So she understands, you know, when I get frustrated, she understands the ups and downs of bowling.
Those two planning on getting married in June of 2013. Best of luck to them. Mike Fagan is back and with a 10-pin lead. Now Chris Barnes, PBA Triple Crown winner after he won the World Championships. Turned to bowling when college basketball didn't work out.
Yeah, he's just a foot too short for that.
Barnes working on a strike. in the fourth. And we've got a great match here at South Point.
I've actually seen Chris Barnes play basketball, and he's a really good basketball player. And Chris had the opportunity to go and play a little one-on-one with Chris Paul. And Barnes then found out very quickly why he's not in the NBA. Seeing he's using the mass eruption, it's kind of the middle ball in terms of power in his arsenal. Full fingertip grip. He uses an extremely tight thumb hole. Not a lot of grab in this swing, because if he grabs it at the bottom, it's not coming off.
Looking for the turkey, Chris Barnes, and Barnes gets there. Fagan and Barnes bringing the fans a great match here at the World Bowling Tour Finals from South Point. More of this match when we come back to Las Vegas. The Bear advanced Aspirin World Bowling WBT Men's Finals. Third member of our broadcast team is Kimberly Kressler. Kimberly's here now with an explanation of a special tribute the players are paying to one of their own. Kimberly?
Thanks, Lon. As you may have noticed at home, the players are wearing a patch on their jersey with the initials TR. It stands for Tony Reyes. He has recently passed and was a fellow bowler that was loved and admired by many. And this is a way of honoring him and his legacy.
Reyes, an extremely popular member of the PBA family, will certainly be missed. We'll pay tribute to him a little later in today's show. Fagan now down 10 after Barnes struck in the sixth. But Fagan working on a four-bagger. Third in last season's Player of the Year race. Belmonte's second, Sean Rash. Honor. Fagan with 5 in a row.
No let up in that guy.
Mike Fagan overcoming that foul in the first frame, an open frame. And he has just been all strikes since. And you see Fagan, the number 2 seed with 342 points. Chris Barnes, the 3rd seed. The winner will face the defending champion, Major Mika Koivu-Niemi, who took on Sean Rash for the championship last year, and Mika came away with the win.
Mike Fagan made the show at the Tournament of Champions and finished 4th. He lost to Pete Weber at the U.S. Open. We'll never forget that.
Fagan is all strikes here at South Point, and Chris Barnes is wired up with us today.
Chris Barnes, how do you keep the momentum going when your opponent's stringing strikes coming out of a commercial break?
Well, I mean, Mike's got great ball action. Looks like he's got the whole lane. So, I mean, the only thing I can do is keep putting pressure on him and keep throwing doubles up in front of him.
Thanks for your time.
Chris opened with a double, then a spare, then a turkey. Barnes trying to work his way into the championship to meet his best buddy on tour, Mika Koivu-Niemi.
His tour roommate.
And Barnes gets them all to keep pace with Fagan. A great crowd here at South Point.
Take a look at this ball reaction, Lon. This is a heavy roll of Chris Barnes. It gets out to the dry boards, and notice how it starts to kind of slow down or almost roll out high flush into the pocket. That's the heavy roll of Chris Barnes. He wants that ball to pick up friction, start making its move into the pocket, and then stop.
Trying to match Mike Fagan strike for strike.
Yes!
And Barnes keeps pace.
Well, he did exactly what he said he was going to do, keeping pace and keeping the pressure on Mike Fagan. Just another great shot by arguably the greatest bowler out on the tour today. I'll tell you what, you take a survey by most of the players out here, you ask them who the best player on tour is, a real high percentage of those players are going to say it's Chris Barnes.
Now Mike Fagan coming off a career year, the king of swing as a two-time Team USA member. In his 11th PBA season. Fagan doesn't like that. That's ugly.
This just looks like a bad shot. He misses it at the bottom. Doesn't catch quite enough of the ball. Gets it a little bit right at target and leaves the 2-4-10. He's going to try to get the bowling ball to the left side of the 2-pin, throw it over into the 10. As you see, Mike Fagan's arsenal is going with the strongest ball in terms of overall aggressiveness. Get it over here, go this way, cover this split.
Can he pick it up? He gave it a shot, but Fagan with his second open frame. And suddenly finds himself down 25.
Back score for Mike Fagan now, 244. Chris Barnes can shoot 279.
He opened in the first and eighth, did Fagan. That foul really thought it was going to get into his head, but then he strung together a whole bunch of strikes, and now in the eighth, he opens up again. And it's up to Mike Fagan now to strike out the rest of the way. And he's on his way.
Two completely different ball rotations. Barnes much more end over end roll. Mike Fagan's got a little more spin to his release. Right now the roll and the line of Chris Barnes looks to be superior. Mike Fagan working on a spare ball.
So Chris Barnes now working on 5 straight strikes. And his 9th frame brings another one. Chris Barnes really bringing it here tonight. He saw an opening Fagan gave him, and Barnes is crashing through. You see he needs just 9 pins to shut out Fagan and guarantee himself a spot in the championships.
Maybe a little revenge for Chris Barnes and getting back at Mike Fagan for losing the Masters. He needs 9 on this ball to advance to the title match.
And Barnes gets 9. He got the minimum. And you saw Fagan cringe in the background, and Barnes just making sure. And he does move through Fagan, advance to the championship match. It'll be Barnes and his buddy, Major Mika, in the championship. So Barnes cleans it up, and he'll be through.
Hey, Chris Barnes, great match. Pulled a great game. Good thing you didn't need that solid 7 there in the 10th frame, huh?
Yeah, sometimes you leave them in the right spots every once in a while. A lot better than that Stone 8 a few years back.
Chris Barnes, with a smile on his face. And he finishes with a strike. 258 for Barnes, a nice game for the Triple Crown winner. And now Barnes will take on the defending champion, Mika Koivu-Niemi, getting ready to try to become a back-to-back World Bowling Tour champion.